Oh, it's like that, is it? Huh? Not talking to Seth today? Oh, the old silent treatment. Oh, whoa, whoo-hoo. That's quite a stimmy.
Hey, Seth. Seth, come back here.
Oh, hey, partner. I was just looking for you.
Looking for me, what? Over there?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Well, see you later, partner.
Where you going, partner?
Nowhere.
Okay. Nowhere wouldn't happen to be where that thing you're looking for is kept, would it?
No, sir. No, sir.
Come on, partner.
Okay, I was just fooling. Partner, you know, the thought of that treasure does funny things to me.
Seth, otherwise known as Seth of the Dead or the Freak with the Glass Eye. Seth is one of the more interesting characters the Red Dead Redemption series has produced. He's a mix of the typical grave robber and prospector type you would expect to see in an old western. He's known for his poor hygiene, antisocial behavior, and most notably his drive to seek his fortune, which he mainly looks for through the valuables of people who have long been dead. Personally speaking, I always found Seth interesting. The whole gimmick of grave robbing, losing his mind, and finding a deeper connection to people who have passed on than an actual breathing person is intriguing to say the least.
Where are you? Come on, don't be shy.
What did you say?
I didn't say nothing.
Are you talking to them?
So what if I am? I feel less alone with them than in a crowd of people. The way I see it, they lost their souls, just like me.
You're truly a sick man, Seth.
You remind me of why I hate people. For a man who kills so much, you sure seem to have a problem with the dead.
Seth is a character that ultimately is driven purely by his own greed, an obsession over a vast fortune that cost him his wife, his children, his business, and ultimately his sanity. As there are a few times in the main story of Red Dead Redemption where we can overhear him not only talking to himself but responding to himself.
Have you looked in the cave, Seth? It's very dark.
What'd you say?
I didn't say nothing.
I just heard you say something.
You're a crazy man. You should get that head looked at.
Now, seeing how a massive chunk of people have yet to play the original Red Dead Redemption game, allow me to give some backstory on how and why we come across Seth. You see, Seth is one of 3 people that are crucial to John's overall mission of apprehending his former brother-in-arms, Bill Williamson. Bill has formed his own gang, and they're based out of Fort Mercer. John has already been shot and left to die once before by trying to single-handedly take Bill down, so now he's decided to look into the local populace as a resource to help him deal with Bill Williamson, whether if that means we're going to take him alive or without a pulse. Seth is particularly important because he's already worked with Bill and his gang before. As he says himself, he's acquired a reputation for doing jobs other people are not willing to do. Wes Dickens, a snake oil salesman, hatched a plan to sneak John inside the gates of Fort Mercer with the help of Seth, who already has a somewhat pre-existing relationship with Bill's gang. When the time comes to launch the assault on Fort Mercer, John is successfully placed behind the gates of the fort, hiding out in Mr. Dickinson's wagon that was fitted with the Gatling gun, something that could definitely not have been achieved to the level of success that it was without the help of Seth. So while he did fulfill his obligations to John, it wasn't without John having to originally help Seth out. As I said before, Seth is motivated by his own pursuit of fortune, losing himself so dramatically to it that it cost him everything, forcing him to find some kind of peace in the rotting corpses he spent so much time lifting valuables off of. When John first meets Seth, he's in the middle of grave robbing out in Coote's Chapel, lamenting over the betrayal and loss of a treasure map that was originally in his possession until his former partner Moses stole it off of him. John agrees to help Seth retrieve the map from Seth's former partner Moses, which honestly ended up giving us one of the most satisfying cutscenes in these games. Now I'm going to play it in its entirety because I feel it perfectly displays the mental state that Seth is in, and John, all too aware that Seth is a disgusting man who's on the hinges of his own sanity, still decided to comply to Seth's request of hog-tying Moses and bringing him back to him.
Moses, you son of a bitch! Where's my damn map?
Damn you, Seth! Damn you, Seth! You've always been a twisty little freak. I ain't telling you shit.
Then I'm gonna cut you up piece by piece. Till you find your tongue.
Friend, this man's gone crazy in the sun. I suggest you take my advice and start talking.
Shut up, Marston! I want to cut into a bona fide man's flesh. Ain't never cut into a live one before.
Oddfellows Rest. It's in Oddfellows Rest. Now, get away from me once and for all. Oddfellows Rest. It's in 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 Oddfellows
Well, ain't that a damn shame? I was starting to enjoy myself. I think you gone pissed yourself, Moses.
The sheer terror in Moses' eyes is one thing, but can we just talk about the difference in feeling and writing from this scene to Red Dead Redemption 2? There's quite a few blatant F-bombs in this game on top of saying shit. Profanity isn't shied away from at all in this game. It's still distinctly a Rockstar game, and at times, that foul language and feeling of certain scenes can help play into the notion that this is just GTA with horses, but I've always loved this scene. It perfectly displays Seth's more demented side with joking about enjoying cutting Moses up, who's obviously terrified of his former partner, and then capped off with the humor of Moses pissing himself is just icing on the cake. It's a type of writing that Rockstar seemingly long abandoned, or at least is notably different in the second game. Whether if we want to say that's because this sequel has a clearer direction in the universe and overall writing is a lot more set in stone with a clear vision from the developers, or it's Rockstar reaching a quote-unquote mature stage, or as some people refer to it as just being woke now. No matter how you look at it, it's notably different. And even though it can come off a little immature, at times it does contribute to this game feeling more brutal or grittier, harsher than its sequel. Or I guess I should say prequel, as Red Dead Redemption 2 does take place before the events of this game. Returning to Seth, there's a few more missions that take place with him, culminating in the anticlimactic and fairly disheartening discovery that the treasure that he's been obsessed with yet unspecified to us turned out to be nothing more than a glass eye.
The goddamn hell is this? A glass eye?
I'm sure whoever that belonged to treasured it very much.
Stupid liars. Those stupid chicken shit maps. Making a damn fool of me. A glass eye! It's a glass eye!
Stop with the tears and help me with Williamson's gang.
Regardless of his disappointment, he still helps out with the assault on Fort Mercer, and we don't really see or hear from him ever again. That is until the epilogue, where you can find a small newspaper article that shares Seth brought a large sack of valuable jewels and gold into Blackwater that he found somewhere deep in tall trees, but that's pretty much it as far as the main story goes. That is, of course, until the one major DLC Red Dead Redemption ever received, and that being the Undead Nightmare. With this DLC centered all around zombies, it seemed only fitting for Seth of all people to return in this DLC. Seeing how he would react to the undead walking around would have been a treat, because Seth himself says that he has a closer bond and a closer link to people that have long passed on rather than those that actually have an active pulse. And as the DLC shows, as you would expect, Seth loves it. It seems almost as if he is completely immune to the zombies as well, possibly due to his poor hygiene and lack of any real link to living people. There's never any explanation given as to why he seems to be immune or can seemingly make these undead people docile or somewhat listen to him. It's just kind of accepted and makes sense. Naturally, John comes to him to try to understand what exactly is going on in this world, and Seth, well, he's no help.
Besides, this ain't nothing new.
Folks in Blackwater blaming it on that glass eye you found.
Folks! 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 Damn them folks, John Marston! Damn them! And damn you! Get him! Get him, Moses! Get him!
After all I've done for you, Seth. And I thought loyalty was important to you.
You can't hurt me. Moses, get him. Go!
Yeah.
Get him!
Give me, Moses. Looks like your dog's lost his bite, Seth.
Unsurprisingly, he loves this world. You mainly just see him twice. The first time where he's playing cards with Moses, and then the second time where he basically has a little party with some undead people. And then not again until the very end of the game where Seth ends up stealing the mask that triggered the apocalypse to happen, which in this storyline resulted in John actually being resurrected. Now obviously the Undead Nightmare is not considered canon. It's just an extra storyline that gave us the added treat of seeing Seth, because frankly, I don't think we see enough of him in the main story, and I've always found him to be one of the best characters in the series, definitely one of the more unique ones. But let me know what you think down in the comments section below. What are your opinions on Seth? Do you wish we saw more of him, less of him, if he had some kind of return, or maybe we would have saw him as a normal person? Having his life together in Red Dead Redemption 2, I think would have been an awesome treat and a jaw-dropping moment where you realize who that person is and what he becomes later on. Descending into madness and completely being isolated from everyone else is something that, now that I say it out loud, is kind of a missed opportunity on Rockstar's part. But like always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any suggestions, comments, recommendations on who to cover or what to do next, please let me know down below. And of course, like always, if you're brand new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing for somewhat daily content. I'm trying to solidify this community a little bit more as well, so in the description, as well as it should be in the pinned comment, there's going to be a link to my Discord server. There's well over 2,000 members that are active daily, so if you want to talk about not even just Red Dead Redemption, just games in general, and please consider joining. We'd love to have you. There's always some crazy shit being talked about in there, and of course you can talk to me directly in there. But until next time, I'll see you all later.
I'm warning you, Seth.
Oh, I'm warning you, Seth. I'm warning you. Don't play with the undead, Seth. Don't chase treasure. Don't waste your time searching for treasure and discover only a glass eye. Glass eye. Well, warn all you want, cowboy.